Let's see. Maybe. All right, so many words have been spoken today, even more than I might have imagined. It feels like there shouldn't be any left, and yet at the same time it feels like there's still so much to say. We've heard a lot of lovely adjectives about my mom today: generous, kind, fun, smart, strong, inclusive, spirited, adventurous. She was also practical. She was thrifty. I could expand on all of these, but the word I'm going to talk about really briefly relative to my mom today is fierce, defined as showing a heartfelt and powerful intensity. She certainly was fierce in the kitchen. She was a fierce advocate for what she believed in. She was fiercely loyal. She was fiercely opinionated and fiercely committed to those opinions. Lulu always had a clear vision of how she wanted things to be, and she usually made it happen with determination, focus, organization, and sheer will, or you might say stubbornness. She was unapologetically herself. She was authentic before that was a thing. While her ferocity could be maddening at times, as I have reflected on her legacy, I have gained clarity that it was this more uncomfortable trait that probably shaped me more than any other. While my dad taught me to play and how to compete, it was my mom who found or demanded athletic opportunities for me at a time when there were few, if any, for girls. It was my mom who made me, against my will, take the entrance test for Bishop O'Dowd, as she knew what I could not possibly know at age 13, that Piedmont High School was not going to be the right place for me to thrive. And while we don't often want to admit that our moms are right, her insistence on O'Dowd for me is at the top of a very long list of gifts I received from Lulu. It was her living example of knowing her truth and advocating for it that taught me to trust myself and my decisions even when they ran counter to popular opinion. It's no secret to those of you here that I presented my mom with some real challenges over the years as I made choices that did not align with her vision. But in the end, the last 5 years, and especially the last 6 months, we were more connected than ever. And I will be forever grateful that we both had the patience and the faith to leave a tiny crack in the door of possibility, which allowed grace to intercede and rescue our relationship. And so I find myself now beginning to understand and embracing this paradox. What drove me nuts about my mom is also what made me who I am. And so I will close with a simple 2-word sentence, uttered often, but not often enough. Thankful.
All right, can you guys hear me? You guys are kind of short. Well, so much has been said, and we could go on and on for days. We wanted to go through all the adjectives about Lulu. One thing we haven't talked about is really sort of that behind the scenes of what it was like for Lulu and the nuclear family, being Big Dave, Sarah Rose, and myself. I think before we kind of get into that, you kind of have to understand what it's to be a mom, right? So if you're deciding to get into parenting and that's the direction you decide to go and you have a choice to be a mom or a dad, and they give you a job description, being a mom's tough. So that's a hard one to begin with, but when you get that initial job assignment that says Lulu Band family, that becomes a lot more intense. That's like triple overtime with no pay. But that's what Lulu got. You can almost see like the job pool where they hand out the first job assignments, and she goes, "Oh, Lulu band." So you can see the rest of the people going, have fun with that. So on paper, there's a lot of good things about Big Dave and Sara, particularly me as well. Big Dave, valedictorian of his high school class, basketball star in college, venerable law firm, as Peter mentioned, and probably the most prized accomplishment that I can see is he holds a record for not just the most games coached, but also the most games won in a single season at Piedmont Middle School, going 40-10 in 1983. And then you have Sara and I. We're also not so bad on paper. Between the two of us, we broke down gender barriers in youth sports in Oakland. We were selected Northern California Scholar Athlete of the Year. Got a 1580 on our SAT, got into Stanford. We hold collegiate records in both steals and assists. So, again, we look pretty good. But when it comes down to what could be the most basic question of any human being, how are you? That is a mind splitter for the three of us. Talking about real emotions or how one feels, we're good in certain ways, we're not so good on that score. And Mary Lou had to deal with that for a number of years. And God bless her for putting up with us. Because she was really the engine that drove us. It was that love and that connection. She was like a vigilante that wasn't gonna let the sort of emotionally incapacitated folks that we were drive this family off the cliff. And so she was tough, and she was resilient, she was fierce, to use Sara's word. And I think between everyone in this room, there was always some way that she would show that, and everyone has a different picture of what Lulu did. I would take it back to sort of two funny little ways that Mary Lou drove that love and that connection, not just amongst Big Dave, Sara, and myself, but all the grandkids and the broader community and everyone in this room. The first one I want to talk about was gift giving. So Lulu had a very particular way of giving gifts. It wasn't in preparation for a birthday or Christmas. She would constantly be thinking about those that she cared about and be thinking about the next great gift that she could get for you. And she would do that via catalogs. I don't know if anyone knows what those are anymore, but it's a paper thing you flip, and you find something kind of goofy or quirky, and you circle it, and then you would call an 800 number with a credit card, and you mail it. And so she would do that on and off, and she would have these random gifts, and the grandkids can attest to this. We would open them up at Christmas, and like, another Lulu gift, and do like a fist bump. Some of these, you can talk to these guys, they have a better memory than I do, but one was a practice putting green you would put between your feet while you're on the can doing your business to work on your putting stroke. And then if you did really well, there was a separate toilet roll full of flagstick little memorabilia to clean up with. It was great. We had indoor snowball fight kits where you'd throw cotton balls at each other indoors to mimic a snowball fight. For some reason, that kind of thing. We had hot chocolate mugs that had built-in basketball rims so you could dunk your mini marshmallows into the hot chocolate. My favorite was she gave me a shirt once. I don't know where she got it, but it still had the shoplifting security thing locked, right? It was huge, it was big, you couldn't hide it. And so I wore it around for about 6 months thinking somebody would take something and no one ever did. That was a good one. And then the last one, I think this was probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago, she bought me, and Brian, you might have gotten one too, a hiking kilt. So this was a green tartan plaid kilt that came with matching green tartan socks. And she's like, I think it'd be great for you to go hiking with me. And she had a vision of me being some brutish Scottish beefcake guy out in the Highlands. I don't know, didn't really work. The second way that Lulu really adhered to keeping us all together was the movies. She loved going to the movies. In fact, my first memory of going to a movie was to see Rocky at the old Coliseum Cinedome down by the Coliseum, sorry. And Lulu had a great eye for movies. Sometimes it kind of waned a little bit, particularly if she just wanted to go to the movie for social reasons. And the kids were all party to that. The one that sticks out in my head is Nut Job 2. So raise your hand if you've seen Nut Job 2.
Grandkids.
Okay. The punchline is going to be better. It's going to be, now raise your hand if you actually saw Nut Job 2 in the theater. But apparently it's just YouTube. So Nut Job 2, I had to look this up. It came out in 2017. At that point, Connor was a freshman at the Sir Francis Drake High School. just engrossed with Snapchat and who knows what inappropriate things he was watching. And Nicholas, not too far, you know, he was 6th grade. But Lulu, and Nut Job 2, guys, probably a 2nd, 3rd grade movie, maybe. But they were troopers, they went, they got the popcorn, they got a Subway sandwich, they did what they had to do. But the reference to Nut Job 2 became kind of a funny thing. It became 2 different things. It was like if Lulu was conjuring up some sort of a trip you didn't really want to go to, it felt pressured you were getting a nut job. And then any movie that these guys would go see, invariably they come back and like, so guys, you know, how was Avengers? Was it as good as Nut Job 2? Fast forward to about 3 weeks ago, when Lulu passed. It was a Sunday night into a Monday morning. I was just kind of doing what a typical male little man does. I was grieving on my own by text. And not reaching out to anybody, but Nicholas sent me a great video of himself slotting some 35-yard field goals and feeling good. But right after that, he sent a question. That question that I had mentioned earlier, how are you? I was like, oh God, here we go. So Nicholas asked me, how are you? I said, I'm doing okay. Somewhat relieved for Lulu after a tough day yesterday, but then waves of reality sweep through. Never get to see my mom again type of stuff. Funny as I would kill for a chance to be forced to go see Nut Job 2 with you guys if we had the chance. The things you don't think of in the busy stuff of day-to-day life. Nicholas's reply was, wow, Dad, I'm so sorry. We all wish we could go see Nut Job 2 together. So it was that type of effort and willingness to show love despite maybe not getting that love back to her from her immediate nuclear family that kept us all going. So it's hard for me to not think of that silly Nut Job 2 invitation again. And to be honest, Big Dave, Sara, and myself, we're going to be lost without Lulu. You know, it's been a big push to get this party together. And we're so grateful to see you all here, and it's meant the world to us. I know Lulu's looking down at us, but Lulu's retired from her job with us, and that role won't be filled. And come Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays, it's going to be a rough go. But at the same time, we can all look around and be so happy that she touched each and every one of you, and in particular the 3 of us, the way that she did. So thank you very much. So that's it for the formal proceedings.
Yeah, that is it. I promise. I do just want to ask that if you haven't made your way into this room over here, on my right, your left, Dave put together a pretty amazing guest book for today, which is a cookbook. And it's Mary Lou's recipes and some photos. So really would like you to put your name in there, or a story, or just let us know you were here. And then we're going to put that together and PDF that and send that out to all of you. So you can have some of those magical recipes that brought us all together over the years. And really appreciate you being here. Please eat some food, have some more drink, tell some more stories. And we really appreciate you being here. And we're really going to miss Mary Lou. Thank you.